I'm Mr. Heath Miser, I'm Mr. Fun, I'm Mr. Heath Blister. Hello and welcome back to Bookish. I decided to reestablish my booktube cult bona fides by doing what has to be the most popular tag in our little corner of booktube going around, and that is the Hot or Not A to Z tag created by Greg over at the channel. Another Bibliophile Reads. I think everybody's done this, and I know Greg. Pretty sure I remember that Greg tagged me to do this when he made his original. I've been kind of slow to get to it, other things going on, but I wanted to do it for this Tag Tuesday. Make sure you all know that I am a cult member in good standing. All joking aside, this is an excellent and fun tag, and I hope to do it kind of in the spirit in which it was intended. What Greg has done is he's created a list of prompts for every letter of the alphabet, A to Z obviously, and you're supposed to react with hot or not to different things, genres, etc. In the book world. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. It's possible I may offer a little bit of explanation from time to time, but I'm going to try to do this pretty quick because I think that was the intention. So A is audiobook, hot. B, Bildungsroman, that is a book about coming of age, hot. By the way, I think everybody thinks a Bildungsroman novel has to be like David Copperfield, where we track somebody's life from youth to adulthood. I really don't think that's true. You know, in a lot of senses, a lot of the works of someone like Jane Austen are actually kind of, I think, fit the category of Bildungsroman, probably Mansfield Park, maybe more than all the others. But there's a certain amount of coming of age character arc that takes place, you know, in lots of books. Emma, by the way, another great example of that. C, children's books. You know, I don't read a lot of children's books now, but I'm going to be a grandfather soon, so I'm just going to say hot. D, digital books, incredibly hot. As I get older and my eyes get worse, my Kindle becomes a more and more important part of my reading. E, experimental books, hot. I like experimental books, and I think a lot of people think that experimental book has to be something, you know, it's really avant-garde. It really can just tell a story in a lot different way. And another thing to kind of keep in mind that's important is that at different points in time, different things seem more experimental. For instance, Hemingway's writing style was experimental when he developed it in the 1920s. F is fantasy. I'm going to go not hot. Big fantasy reader as a young person. Haven't really been able to get back into fantasy. I read the first book in Robin Hobb's, I think, Farseer trilogy or Quadruple C or whatever it is. And I liked it, but not enough to go on. So I'm going to say not. G, graphic novels, hot. I don't read a lot, but I've enjoyed almost all the ones I've read. H, horror, not. It's just not something I pick up. It's just not something I'm particularly interested in. I, inspirational, not hot. When I see inspirational, I think self-help or a book that's supposed to kind of make you want to clean your house or something like that. And for the most part, you know, I don't trust anybody who tells me that I should live their life like them. And I know not all self-help books tell that, but, you know, that's kind of a part of the marketing. K is kitsch, and I'm not exactly sure how this would apply, but if it means sentimental, I'm going to say not. Let's see. L, library, hot. I like my public library a lot. I really like the Libby app I have access to through the library. M, mystery, definitely hot. It's my favorite genre. I consider it to be kind of like a palate cleanser if I've been reading stuff that's kind of too heavy or seems too serious or too challenging, perhaps. I like to read mystery. N is nonfiction, hot. You know, this is what I write. Love nonfiction November. Had a good nonfiction November this month. P is poetry, hot. I've been writing more poetry myself, reading some. You know, when I read it, I like it. I will admit it's not the first thing I pick up, but I do think that it's hot. Let's see. Q, quests. Hot. Quest novels can be all kinds of things. I know we associate that with fantasy a lot, but you know, when you think about it, The Great Gatsby is a quest novel where, you know, the quest really didn't work out, but still a quest novel of sorts. R, romance, hot. Don't read a lot of romance, but I have read some recently, and I liked all of it. You know, I liked the romance novels that I read. Let's see. So S is sci-fi. I'm going to say not. I don't read a lot of sci-fi. I've read a couple of sci-fi books since I've been on BookTube, and neither one have been particularly great. T is translation, definitely hot. Love reading books in translation. Really is one of the things that BookTube has done the most for me in terms of expanding my reading to include more books in translation. You, Übermensch, I'm going to say not. The Übermensch is supposed to be somebody who's capable of doing anything. I've already kind of made my opinion known about Cormac McCarthy's latest novel, which contains an Übermensch kind of character, probably intentionally because McCarthy has some kind of philosophical thing to point to make. But really one of the things that I include as kind of this Übermensch are kind of the ultimately good people who seem to be able to accomplish things just through their goodness. And Victorian literature has a lot of these people. I'm thinking of Agnes and Agnes Grey and Olive in the book Olive are just so incredibly good that they don't really seem to be real. And in that sense, those kinds of characters have a tendency to kind of alienate me a little bit. V is Victorian. I definitely am going to say hot for Victorian novels. I love Victober. Enjoy reading that every month. W is Western. I'm going to say hot. I don't read hardly any Westerns, but two of what I consider to be the greatest works of American literature in the second half of the 20th century were written as Westerns. Lonesome Dove being number one, and Blood Meridian being number two, both Westerns, and I would have to conclude that, and so as a result, I'm going to say Westerns are hot. X-rated, that's hot. I mean, it's written to be hot, so I'm just going to say it's hot. Do I pick up a lot of books that would be, strictly speaking, erotica? No. Do I mind if erotica shows up in the books I'm reading? No. So I'm going to go hot. Y is young adult. I'm going to say not. I just don't read a lot of YA, and I find kind of the characters in YA to be irritatingly simple or archetypal. And then Z is Zeitgeist. That is a book that's of its time, and I'm going to say hot because I particularly liked books, and over the course of my reading life, have liked books set in certain periods of time that give kind of an impression of that time, whether it's World War I or the 20s or the 50s. I'm on record as not thinking that you need to read On the Road by Jack Kerouac, but what I would say, if you're interested in life in the 50s, particularly countercultural life in the 50s, I think then that's a worthwhile read. It will give you some information about that, some experience of that, even though it is a work of fiction. Anyway, there you go. There is the Hot or Not A to Z tag. Thanks to Greg for tagging me to do this. It was really fun. Look forward to your comments in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for watching.